Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. I'm your instructor Zia Hamid. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to English grade 7 video lesson series. Students, today we are going to cover yet another students learning outcome from our unit number 7, which is about historical marvels. We are going to talk about the competency of writing, and today we will talk about writing narratives. So we know that writing has different types. There is descriptive writing where you add detail and description, and then there is narrative writing which includes story-like elements and narratives. They can be real or experienced. So we will try to see what they are. Here is your students learning outcome, which says that write narratives or do narrative writing to develop real or imagined experiences or events using effective techniques, descriptive details, and clear event sequence. Now, there are so many techniques that can be followed. There is description and descriptive details, and also the events. Just like we are telling a story, we need to take care of the events that are placed in a specific order. So this is what we are supposed to do today. Here is your vertical linkage, and for your brainstorming session today, students, before we dive into the lecture, think about it. Have you ever written something? Think of a time when something unexpected happened to you. What was the event? How did you feel? And what changed afterwards? Can you write that on your own? So it can be anything, any school event, any experience, maybe it's good or bad, or any kind of event that is part of your life. You can think about it and then just narrate it, just like we tell a story, just like we tell it to our friends and family members. So this is what we call real experiences of that we are writing for, and we are adopting the narrative style of writing. So do this activity quickly, write few lines even, and then we can move on. All right. Now, let's see what is a narrative writing. A narrative is just another name of a story of real or imagined experiences. It means that it can be fictional or non-fictional. It includes characters, setting, a plot, and a sequence of events. So when you're writing real life experiences or events, then you don't add characters or plot. But they are quite similar. When you are telling an imagined experience or event, then you need to follow the story elements and proper all those techniques of writing a story. So narrative writing covers both your real experiences and imagined as well. And if you see one, you can quickly realize and recognize that what kind of narrative is it? Is it real or imagined? All right. Now, let's understand some differences. When we are talking about real experiences, these are events or series of events that have happened to you, or maybe others that you can narrate. Imagined experiences are stories created from your imagination. It can be a story about a superhero, about any imaginative character. You can add personification in it. You can use different literary and story techniques and elements. So this is the clear difference between real narrative writing with real experiences and imagined narrative writing with imagined and fabricated and fictional kinds of events and experiences. Now, both are very interesting to read, but imagined experiences are giving you more liberty to create and be more creative. All right, how can we write a good narrative? This is very important to understand, students. Now, let us see. Obviously, just like a good story, we'll have some characters. And these characters can be good, bad, or supporting, or all the different kinds of characters. They can be round characters, flat characters, and so on. So characters are people who are involved in the story. And setting, when we are talking about the setting, we answer some questions. Where and when does the story take place? What was the era, the period, time? What was the whole environment, the date, and everything? All of the surrounding can be explained, and that will be part of your setting. And when we are talking about a good narrative, it should have a good plot. Plot is all about whatever is happening in the story. And you have to follow a sequence from starting, middle, and at the end. So you have to follow a proper plot development, and you have to follow the stages of plot that we have learned. Now, another important thing is that there should be a problem in the story which is needed to be solved, because if there is no problem or conflict, then the story will take place, and then the story will be of no value, and it will not create any kind of interest for the readers. So problems or conflicts are challenges or problems that the characters face in the story. And at the end, we are talking about resolution. We are resolving the problems or the conflicts by the characters. Most probably, the main character is the one who is playing a part in solving the conflict or the problem. So resolution is, how is the problem solved? What are the things that happened that lead to the end of the story? Was it a good ending? Was it a bad ending? Is it happy or sad? So there can be these two different kinds of endings. All right. By following all these steps and all these things, you can create a very good narrative. All right. Now let us go through the process of narrative writing. This is taken from your book. First, we will talk about the introduction. You have to begin with a very captivating opening sentence or paragraph to grab the reader's attention. The very first paragraph's opening statement, the first line, is your topic sentence. So it has to be very much captivating for the reader. Make them decide whether they want to read the story or not. Introduce the historical place you visited and provide some background information about its significance. Let's say, students, that we are talking about visiting a historical place. Now, this is a real life narrative and based on real experience and events. You visited a historical place and now you are writing a narrative. So, let us talk about the setting. Describe the journey to the historical place. How did you reach there? What was the plan? How did it happen? And how did you decide that you're going to visit that historical place? And how was the journey all the way to that specific landscape or place or building? Include the mode of transportation that you took and the atmosphere among the students. Paint a vivid picture, a very clear picture of the surroundings. Each and every detail is very much important. Capturing the sights, sounds, and smells. It means you have to use the literary technique of imagery, which will trigger all these 5 senses, maybe at once or one of them at a time. Then the next step will be that you explore the historical place from outside till you get in and then you get out. Describe the main features, architecture, or landmarks of that historical place. So why this historical place is distinctive, what is the architecture like, and its history and all the things involved. Then you will share your personal experience as an individual, as a student, as a traveler, and share your personal thoughts, feelings, and emotions as you were exploring the historical place. Then you can include engaging dialogue with the natives, with others, with your teachers and your fellows. You can incorporate and include conversations in the form of dialogues in your narrative. Now, we are about to conclude the story, and then we will summarize the overall experience, your final verdict and remarks about the story to conclude the story on a very good note. You will talk about significance, the benefits of visiting that historical place academically and also on personal level. So, a visit to a historical place, that would be your title, and you have to follow all these instructions to create a very good narrative. Now think about any historical place that you have visited. If not, then search about a specific historical place and try to create a narrative that looks real and feels real. All right. Now, let us look at an example and try to decide whether this narrative is actually based on real life, real experiences, or is it imaginative. It says, standing at the threshold of the classroom, I could feel the weight of every moment spent within these walls. It wasn't just a place of learning, it was a sanctuary for lost hopes and hidden potentials unearthed. Now, students, what do you think about this narrative? Yes, this is real because the writer has used the first person narrative, first person's point of view, and it is sharing an experience of a classroom. Now, when we are talking about real life experiences, students, you can mostly find the point of view of first person with the pronouns I, me, myself, and all these pronouns that we are using for first person. But you can also find the first person narrative in imaginative experiences as well. But this is very interesting because this is real life experience. There are no characters involved. So this gives us a clue that this narrative is based on reality. Here is another example. Again, this is a real life experience. It's a real narrative and you can read it by yourself. If you read the first paragraph, my week was really fun at outdoor ed. The people that you are around, really fun and very nice. It took an hour to get there, but it felt like 2 hours to get there. Right when you get to outdoor ed, you get a tour of the place. They take you around the whole place, and I'm not going to lie, it was really fun after the tour. You got to your dorms at the people, and the people that going to be your dorm or dorm mates. Now this is a mixture of first person narrative and second person narrative because we are witnessing the uses of you pronoun for second person. This is an experience of an outdoor education activity or class. The writer experienced this and then wrote down this narrative piece to let you know that how was the experience of that outdoor education class. So if you have experienced something like this, some summer camp, anything, any outdoor academic activity, any extracurricular activity or experience, you can create such narrative by following the techniques. Try to follow the one tense that you are writing in. Do not shift between tenses irregularly and follow the correct kind of narrative perspective or point of view. By following these important instructions, you can create a very good and interesting narrative writing sample. All right, students, we are actually focusing on real life and real experiences and events because our main lesson is also about that, which is about historical marvels. Write a memorable narrative about your visit to a historical place on a school trip. Use your imagination and bring personal experiences and reflections into writing. So this is your prompt for writing, and you can write about 500 words or 300 words as well. All right. You can watch the simulation link for extensive information. This is added in the description of the video as well. When we are talking about the worksheet, here you will write narratives to develop real or imagined experiences. Here is your prompt, and now you have to continue writing the story by yourself. For the homework, imagine that you have visited a museum on a school trip. Now, what are the things that we find in a museum? You can use your imagination and write a very good real life experience about visiting a museum. These are all the resources that are added in the description of the video. You can access them. Try to follow the worksheet and the homework, and also perform the classroom activity, students. I hope that we have covered our students' learning outcome, which is about mostly about real experiences when we are talking about narrative writing. So, thank you so much, students. I hope I'll see you in the next video lesson. Allah Hafiz.